I have 4 days left in autumn, and then
I asked her if she can make me one until I...
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
So, you know, I think, you know, for me today was a little bit about working together to create a bit of a menopause manifesto, if I can say that. So it's kind of like we're creating our, you know, our own kind of set of ideas for how we can handle this next stage of life, right? That's the idea. So what I'm going to get you to do after lunch. So this is the, you got a headache or just practicing?
The neck.
Neck pain, yeah. Okay, so listen up. Yeah. After lunch, we're gonna write a little.
We still have juices going, but we didn't get to put them.
Okay, so
on paper.
I'm juicing you up.
This was really quick.
Juice up and shut up. So yeah. So after lunch, you'll be writing your kind of menopause manifesto, which is just kind of like your own which will become, you know, a useful survival guide for yourself and your, you know, the ladies you're working alongside. So dealing with confusion, uncertainty, this kind of inevitability of change. So let's see what, and I'm just telling you what you've written. So yoga practice, Nadi Shodhana. It's always good for everything. Yeah, can't really go wrong with Nadi Shodhana, to be honest. Yeah, it's funny because the intermediate series of Ashtanga Yoga is called Nadi Shodhana, so I'm like, well, you know, is it really worth the bother when you can just do, I'm just lazy. I've just never. I started it like 3 times and only ever did 2 postures. Yin yoga. So yin yoga. How we explain to me the yin yoga thing?
It's just very slow, I think. You spend like 3 minutes in each asana. That's what I know.
Yeah. I think it could work. Especially if like the content of the instruction was around the theme of that. You know, it's like, you know.
I think for yin, if they work with the correct meridians, it might work.
Yeah. And yeah, potentially. Daily practice of meditation. So I think that's kind of one of the answers, isn't it? It's the meditation. You know, that's I think wise. Spending a lot of time in nature, and I know this from what I've discussed with Uma is one of the very high on the list of menopause manifesto aspects. Okay? Use a journal to record feelings. I think this is you know, a good life coach would definitely be telling you stuff like that, wouldn't they? Take each day as it comes, reflect and let things go, so attitude. And essential oils, so lavender, that's you know, more, I know perhaps some of you guys know more about essential oils. Build your relationship with the moon and align with a constant cycle. Now this is super, super important. Your moon relationship. So, you know, basically you start becoming aware of where we are in the moon cycle. So you kind of follow the moon, the real moon, not because you haven't got a inner moon anymore, so you've got to plug into that one. So, for example, when you're charting your menstrual start, you might start doing a moon cycle to the moon. So, you know, new moon, how do I feel? And then you chart, and then you look at patterns according to the actual moon. So maybe there's a certain pattern around the full moon of how you feel. There's a certain pattern around the new moon of how you feel. You know, you give it a go. All of this stuff sounds completely mad initially. You know, you try to tell your client, you know, they need to, do you know what I mean? It takes a shift of awareness to, the only thing is constant change, be curious and in awe of your existence. So that's the attitude. How you bring into your life, that's a skill. Okay, so we have this kind of double-edged sword of, you know, either harvesting the attitudes and experiences of the monthly cycle, that if we've had the gift of becoming aware of it, and or the resurfacing of our suppressed experiences, including all the way back to our menarche, for example. And how can we handle either or of those? So pranayama, yogic breath, alternate nostril breath, heart opening. So the way Pee-wee approached it this morning, so you're working on this part of your body, is good advice. And be where you are able to be in a circle where you can reveal what you're going through, right? So you're finding yourself a space where you can actually share that information. And if you're probably a CEO, you can't really share that with your employees, right? It's finding that support. Attitude, calm. It's okay to say no. Don't judge or blame yourself for ignoring the cycle in the past. And then, how much of the planet is that going to, not all of us have had the information or or even have any interest in it. Why would you? To be fair. So listen, uplifting songs, massage, self-care and pampering. So I think a lot of that self-love stuff that, we're riding waves of that. Hang out with people who embrace aging gracefully. That's a pretty good tip, isn't it? So start finding those people. And journaling came up. Okay, this idea of the enchantress, the being drawn into your own magical power. Restorative yoga. Yeah, so these quiet practices can be very powerful. Turn up every day for meditation to start and enable the discovery. Charting and connecting to the higher source. So, charting? No. Chanting, yeah. Again, initially chanting for some people, a bit weird, but yeah, absolutely.
Also flowy and embodied practices in this one, right? If you feel that very strong right now, you would want something very embodied, flowy.
Yeah, some mood to Bali, and there'll be plenty of that. No, it's
to Bali.
Just move to Bali for a start. No, I mean it's all happening. It's all happening in Dubai as well. I mean, there's a lot on offer these days. Shakti celebration. Yes. Attend Shakti celebration. Even if it sounds like a load of nonsense, it's free anyway. Because that's what I want. I want people to say, "Well, that sounds kind of interesting, but it might be bullshit, but it's free, so I'll go." So but then I do tend to get like the people. I do tend to collect obviously sisters who are already in the thing. So, but then some people do come like, what the hell is this?
Well, it gives all of us who are already in it an opportunity as well to invite our friends, family, and other people.
Exactly. So that's kind of why I started that. Pulsing our habitual patterns, because obviously the shake up of habit will happen whether you like it or not, because there's changes here. Inversions, maybe not when you're having lots of hot flushes, probably not the best advice, but swing yoga, suggestion. I don't know how everyone feels about that. Swing yoga.
When you swing, it can cool you down.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just suggestions. May or may not be.
It's not really gonna swing. With a Pee-wee, it's not really swing.
That you get a new perspective.
Yeah. And it makes sense, doesn't it? So, holding the tension, being gentle with yourself. So, we talked a bit about that in the autumn season of your cyclical nature. So, same applies. Trying new things. So, try a new class. Try a new type of meditation. YouTube something different. Go to Yoga Fest. Pole dance. It's like a pretty good solution to me. attitude of acceptance, curiosity, and letting go, and finding ways to break your routines. Metta bhavana. Do you guys know metta bhavana, the loving kindness meditation?
No.
So you start by thinking of the person you really truly love, your nearest and dearest, and then you go to thinking about somebody who you kind of see every day, neutral, and then you go on to someone you just hate, and then you go on to the whole world, you know. So you it's like you expand your capacity for love and kindness to beyond your
What about the
boundaries.
Ho'oponopono?
What's that?
The Hawaiian Ho'oponopono.
The pony dance of life. You mean?
No, it's the Hawaiian. I forgive, I love you. I forgive
Okay.
you.
Oh, okay.
I love you.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how to
Yeah.
pronounce that. It's a long.
Sounds good to me.
There's a lot of awesome.
Okay. So Bagalamukhi is a lot about speaking your truth and focusing on powerful speech. So how can we get to that stage? So Shimvasana, so lion's breath, Ujjayi breath, even that is freaky for some people at first, you're chanting Shanti mantra, from darkness to light, from truth to untruth, from darkness to light, from, that kind of, chanting something like that is very powerful, right? Writing a diary, cat and cow with Brahmari, okay, camel, shoulder stand, so nada yoga sounds, scream in an isolated room,
Throw the plate in the kitchen.
scream in the forest, accept where you are and be open to the changes, do a yoga teacher training. Yeah, we should get rid of all the 20-year-olds in the yoga teacher trainings and replace them with menopausal and much more powerful result. Yeah. Say what you think in a YouTube video. YouTube rants, Why not?
New YouTuber.
Or Facebook ranting. No, you've got to be careful with that, and especially in Dubai, not so much in Dubai. Share meaningful stuff in a women's circle. So women's circle and coming together in a circle a trusted circle. So facing regrets and anger about things we have not done or experienced, or energies that we have misplaced in activities we don't care about anymore, that kind of stuff. So Nadi Shodhana, always good. Yogic breath, always good. Heart opening asanas, yes. Acceptance, daily walks, like what we did yesterday was like, it's yoga, right? Pick up something new, and if financially and physically possible, start doing the things you wanted and not experienced yet. So, it's your bucket list time. Get onto the bucket list.
As an attitude, maybe Brené Brown says in one of her books about vulnerability that for her it's essential to believe that every person does the best he or she can in that very moment with the knowledge, the circumstances, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that especially also applies to us and the regrets of things we might not have done.
Yeah.
But we have not done it because in that moment we still gave our best.
Yeah.
And that's what it was, even if it's not that what we now think we should have done.
Yeah, I know, because after like there's a lot in Wildflower about, okay, what if you're reading this and you're 65, or what if you're reading this and you're already perimenopausal? What are you going to do with this information? And they kind of handle it. They do say, well, there will be some regret and some experience of
Missing out.
Yeah, there will be an emotion related to that, but it doesn't mean the work is irrelevant to you, or even like a woman, and this could very well be me. I was very close to having a hysterectomy, and it never happened. But I could be sitting here without a womb, and actually there would be no reason why I can't do this work. But you'd be facing much bigger obstacles. If that was the case for me, I would have had to navigate a slightly more complicated path to this. Instead of the path I navigated was like more the Bhuvaneshwari path, which is much nicer actually than it would have been a fiercer path that I'd had to travel. But it's like that, you know, when you understand yoga, you know, Anamaya kosher is not it. So, and Uma will say things like, the womb or the womb space in her, right? So it's not the womb, it's the womb space. But she does have a bit of a beef about, you know, basically this is work for human beings who are born with wombs. Because it's so complicated these days. Because, you know, not everybody who identifies as female was born with a womb. You get me? So, you know, there's there's quite a lot of complications with this work.
Oh, yes.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that's a different course, right? Okay. So interesting. What you'll do after lunch is you're gonna kind of consolidate this, and you're gonna come up with a kind of like a menopause manifesto. It's kind of really for our own, for us, you know, to how it's like our own guides for how we're gonna navigate this life period. Because, you know, it may be for some of us, it may be now. For some of us, it might be in a few years. For some of us, it might be in 20 years. You know, maybe not so many of us, but so. But either way, we'll be there eventually, right? Inshallah, because otherwise you'll die, right? So yeah, that's it. Okay, so Neko time.
Thank you. Oh God, thank you so much. I feel so much better. I was dying. Like,
Yeah, please feel free to have a look at.
so you are trained to.
No, she's died in her blood.
Maybe you can.
Oh my God, amazing! No,
I do mainly that for my mom, my dad, and my grandmother. Like, who's gonna be the one?
Yeah, well, she has one card with the
I know that I still remember find it on the way
Next to that
laundry. Next to okay,
Yeah.
I'll just go there. It's fine.
That's why she's there. Like,
has a few like
women are just like, she carried the stroller to somewhere like that.
you got them already? Or?
You're gonna
No,
get
it's just fine because they sell without anything.
I did a
Oh yeah, so without
retreat with one
anything.
lady. I asked her to choose a card and she chose something
From
really
5
good. She's quite,
In the moon box.
you know, like random choice. So she chose exactly something.
Because now they have these boxes
I get like
full of all of the stuff that from the same shop.
yeah.
I
I mean, they sell them for 2,000 each.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but you just put
So I
your
don't
face
need
down.
to.
Can you get me a
Play that game. Like,
You don't want to.
yeah.
You're gonna walk with me.
Oh, that's cool. You coming closer? You coming?
And this time, when you're gonna say hi, everybody, you go with the whole body, not with the neck. Remember.
Oh.